Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived an old farmer named Baba Tunde. He was a hard-working man who had spent his life tilling the soil, planting crops, and ensuring that his family never went hungry. Baba Tunde had 3 sons, Kofi, Kojo, and Kola. Baba Tunde was wise and hard-working. His sons were the complete opposite. Kofi was the eldest, and spent most of his days napping under the shade of the big mango tree in their yard. Kojo, the middle son, loved to play games and waste time with his friends in the village square. Kwesi, the youngest, was full of excuses and avoided work at all costs. Baba Tunde worried deeply about his sons. What will happen to them when I am gone, he often wondered. They showed no interest in farming and took no responsibility for. One day, as Baba Tunde sat under the shade of the mango tree, coughing and leaning on his walking stick, he came up with a plan. He decided to teach his sons an important lesson, one that would stay with them even after he. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the crickets began their nightly song, Baba Tunde called his sons to his bedside. His voice was frail but filled with determination. "My sons," he said, "I have something important to tell you. For years I have kept a secret. There is a treasure hidden on our land. It is buried deep in the soil. This treasure is so valuable that if you find it, you will never have to worry about money again." The brothers, who had been lounging lazily in the house, suddenly sat up straight. "Oh, a treasure?" Kofi exclaimed. Where is it, Baba?" Tell us," Kojo pleaded. Baba Tunde smiled weakly. "I cannot remember exactly where I buried it. You will have to search for it yourself. Start digging tomorrow." The sons were too excited to sleep that night. They dreamed of gold coins, glittering jewels, and endless riches. "When we find the treasure, we'll never have to work again," Kofi whispered to his brother. The next morning, armed with shovels, the brothers headed to the fields. Kofi decided to dig near the mango tree, thinking it was a likely spot. Kojo chose the far corner of the field near the riverbank, believing the treasure might be hidden in the soft soil. Kola began digging in the middle of the field, where the crops had grown tallest. For the first time in their lives, the brothers worked hard. They dug tirelessly under the scorching sun, their hands blistered and their clothes soaked with sweat. Each evening they returned home, exhausted but determined. Weeks passed, and they dug up nearly every inch of the farmland, but the treasure remained elusive. "Maybe Baba made a mistake," Kofi grumbled one evening. "Or maybe someone else found it before us," Kojo suggested. Kola, who had been silent, looked at their work and said, "Look at what we've done. The fields are completely cleared, the soil is..." The next day, they decided to plant seeds in the fields they had worked so hard to prepare. The rains came, and to their amazement, the crops grew faster and healthier than ever before. The yams were big and firm, the maize stalks stood tall, and the beans were plentiful. When it was time for harvest, the brothers couldn't believe their eyes. The fields were bursting with crops. They sold their harvest at the market and earned a fortune. For the first time in their lives, they had more than enough money to live. As they counted their earnings, Kofi suddenly remembered Baba Tunde's words. "The treasure is buried in the fields," he repeated aloud. Kola smiled. "The treasure isn't gold or jewels. It's the land and the rewards of our labor." From that day on, the brothers no longer avoided work. They rose early each morning, tended to the fields, and worked side by side. The lazy sons became the most successful farmers in the village, admired by everyone for their hard work, and the story of Baba Tunde and his lazy sons spread far and wide. Villagers told it to their children as a lesson. True wealth comes not from finding treasure, but from honest work and dedication. And so, Baba Tunde's wisdom lived on, not just in his sons, but in the hearts of all who heard the tale.